In 1999, his inevitable destiny was realized when Pete Waite was hired as the University of Wisconsin volleyball coach. He spent his high school days at Monona Grove High School, rooting for Badger football, basketball, and hockey. Pete attended women's volleyball matches and practiced with the men's club team. When introduced as the new coach, he said, "The biggest thing about taking the job is that this is where I grew up. I just loved watching the Badgers, and my children wore their Badger gear when we visited our parents for the holidays." In Brown Deer, Wisconsin, on October 3, 1959, Bill and Gloria Waite welcomed their first son into the family after having two daughters, Lisa and Nancy. At age 2, Pete and the family moved to Monona, where brother John was born. According to Pete, the mix turned out pretty well because his sisters were the family's brains and the boys were the family's athletes. Pete's athleticism may have come from his father, who played basketball at Marquette University. Popular athletes Bart Starr and Rufus Ferguson were role models for him because they were players who won with class, a quality that defines Pete as a person and as a coach. Although Pete seemed to have a natural affinity for the water, it was not until age 9 that he began swimming competitively. A good friend asked him to join the team. The friend lasted only a day, while Pete continued swimming another 8 years. As a senior at Monona Grove, he took 8th in the WIAA state tournament's 50-yard freestyle and was the team's most valuable swimmer. Pete's interest in volleyball did not peak until an 8th grade school assembly that highlighted the Monona Grove boys varsity team. He was hooked on the sport after watching the team and began to play in middle school intramurals. Kurt Schneider and Yanis Tupasis, his high school coaches, developed Pete's basic skill set. His team qualified once for the state championship tournament, and Pete ended his high school career as the team's most valuable player. Niles Peterson, UW men and women's volleyball coach, and Pete's junior Olympic coach, was the mentor who helped get him ready to play at the college level. As a 4-year volleyball player at Ball State, Pete played for International and National Hall of Fame coach Don Shundell. In the Midwestern Collegiate Volleyball Conference, he and his teammates were twice runner-up to Ohio State and were champions in 1979. Pete was twice named to the All-Conference First Team and was team captain and co-most valuable as a junior. In 2008, Ball State honored him with the Don Shundell Lifetime Achievement Award for 25 years of outstanding volleyball coaching. Pete believes there was a little glimmer of a teacher, coach in him ever since he was a young lifeguard teaching swimming lessons. That glimmer brightened in college when he helped coach summer volleyball clinics and camps. Majoring in industrial education, his goal was to become a high school teacher and coach. Ironically, it was his junior Olympic coach's invitation to help start the Second City Junior Volleyball Club in Chicago in the mid-1980s that greatly influenced Pete to take his ultimate career path. Coaching success came early to him, as his U.S. VBA junior teams won 2 bronze medals in the 1986 national tournament, and his 1985 Moraine Valley Community College team won its conference, while Pete was named Conference Coach of the Year. Northern Illinois University, impressed by this early coaching resume, hired him in 1988 to lead its volleyball program. Under his tutelage, the volleyball players and teams excelled for 11 seasons. Today, Pete is still the school's winningest volleyball coach with 266 victories and has the best winning percentage of 72%. He led the team to a record 4 NCAA tournament appearances, 8 conference titles, and 6 conference tournament titles. 19 players received first-team all-conference recognition. 4 players were Conference Player of the Year, 6 players received Conference Tournament Most Valuable Player awards, and his 1993 team was inducted into the Northern Illinois Athletic Hall of Fame. 3 times, Pete's conference coaching peers recognized him as Coach of the Year. What he fondly remembers about this period is that his parents always drove down from Madison for every home game. and that his dad regularly asked, "Does your team ever work on serving?" In 1999, Pat Richter, UW athletic director, gave Pete the opportunity to return home and coach the Badger volleyball program that he watched as a youth. As his goals, he wanted to maintain the excellence that Badger program supporters had learned to expect and to raise the level of junior club volleyball in the Madison area. The Wisconsin Power Volleyball Club he founded has blossomed from the initial 9 teams into 23 girls teams and 4 boys teams, and over 100 girls have gone on to play in college. During his coaching tenure, Badger volleyball remained a nationally recognized program. In 14 years, Pete led his teams to 9 straight NCAA tournament appearances that resulted in 2 Sweet 16s, 2 Elite Eights, and the 2000 NCAA runner-up spot, as well as 2 Big Ten Conference championships. His 305 wins is the most in Badger volleyball history, and Pete is the only coach to reach more than 100 conference wins. He was named Conference Coach of the Year 3 times, and the AVCA Regional Coach of the Year twice, while 11 players received All-American recognition. 17 were named AVCA First Team All-Region, 20 were recognized as First Team All-Conference, and 2 players were named Big Ten Players of the Year. However, for Pete, it was never about his records or the players' statistics. Rather, it was about the players individually and how they related to each other. Midway through his Badger coaching years, he commented, "Some of the most rewarding parts of coaching are watching the players' development, seeing where they go from freshman to senior year, how they mature on the court in their composure, and how they really enjoy their time with teammates." Badger volleyball fans crowded the field house to support the program, leading the Big Ten in attendance 10 of the 14 years, and consistently finishing 2nd or 3rd in national attendance figures. According to Pete, all of the work that we did day in and day out, it just comes down to competitions in front of great fans. Playing at the field house created an awesome atmosphere, making me love coming to work. His greatest fieldhouse memory is the dramatic 5-game win over UCLA to propel the Badgers into the 2000 Final Four. His sons, Eric and Ryan, and wife Carrie, truly led the cheering for his teams over the years, and his sons enjoyed being around the college girls. In-laws Lee and Jack Kelly followed Pete's teams over the years and were especially excited when he came back home to coach the Badgers. Pete believes that his induction tonight gives him the chance to thank those who gave him the opportunity to compete and coach. Many previous inductees were individuals who mentored him or athletes who inspired him. To be inducted into this group was unexpected, but is truly appreciated. The Madison Sports Hall of Fame Club and Strand Associates Incorporated welcome Coach Pete Waite into the class of 2015.